All right, let's make some cured salmon. First thing you need is a piece of salmon like this. Nice fresh bit of fish. Then you're gonna need salt. This is an Italian sea salt that I like to use. Use a sea salt or a flaky salt, but try to stay away from table salt. If you want to add a little smoky flavor, you can use something like this. This is a smoked sea salt. Actually, somebody gave me from Iceland, but you can get a Malden version of this. Next thing you're gonna need is some sugar. I have two options here. I prefer to use this. It's a dark brown sugar. It's very soft. It adds a nice sweetness to the fish. But if all you have is something like a white salt like this, like a cane salt, sugar, sorry, that's absolutely fine. Now for a kilo of fish, you're gonna want about 300 grams of cure. So I'm gonna put 150 grams of sugar and 150 grams of salt. And obviously I don't have a kilo here, so make it a little bit less. And what this cure mix is going to do in effect is it's going to cook the fish out, and it's going to kill any bacteria that's in there. Then we're going to mix it together well. Use your hands, use a spoon. I find it much quicker, much easier to just use your hands and rub it all together. It doesn't have to be perfect. Try to stay away from using a blender because you don't want to break down all the salt and sugar. We're going to take a baking dish and we're going to use this to cure in, because as it cures, it's the water is going to leach out of the salmon. We don't want to make a mess in our fridge. We're going to take this piece of plastic, lay it in our baking tray. It doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to wrap up the salmon. And we're going to add our cure mix to the plastic, to the baking dish. And you want to do this in a nice even layer, about the same size as your salmon. You want to cover the flesh nice and evenly in our cure. So we'll take our piece of salmon, we're going to lay it flesh side down on our cure mix. And then we're going to wrap it up nice and tightly. Now what we're going to do is, once it's wrapped up nice and tight, we're going to put it in the fridge for anywhere 24 to 36 hours, depending on the thickness of the fish. This will go in for 24 hours. We want to put a weight on top of it, nothing too heavy, just something to lightly press it down. So as you can see here, I'm going to use a smaller baking dish, but nothing else on top. I'm going to put that in the fridge, 24 to 36 hours, and it's going to cure out. So here we are, 24 hours later, and you can see that the salt and sugar has drawn all the liquid, not all the liquid, but a lot of the liquid out of the salmon. I'm just going to unwrap it here. And you can see that the color and the texture of it has changed dramatically. I'm wiping off any excess, and then we're going to leave this to soak in some cold water for a few minutes. And this is just going to help take all of the excess salt and sugar off the outside. If you have too much on the outside, it's still going to continue curing after the fact. So we want to give it a little bit of a soak. Now at this point, your salmon is ready to eat if you want to. But personally, I like to leave it another day in the fridge. As you can see, there's sort of drier bits and non-drier bits there, or more or less cured bits. I like to leave it another day in the fridge and just have that even out. So I'm going to wrap it back up again, just in a bit of pasta forno. Put it in some plastic and put it back in the fridge for another 24 hours. But like I said, it is ready to eat now, if you wish. And there it is. There is our cured salmon, ready for your bagels, ready for your brunch. It's a very simple thing to do. This is actually the trickier part, slicing it. You need a very nice, very sharp knife. But hey, your guests will be impressed by the fact that you made it. They won't look at the cutting of it. Don't worry about that. And there it is, our cured salmon. One of my favorites.